on the level. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the ladder while you in need of a shovel. I can do this all day. I can do this all night.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good day to all of you, all my classmates. So, for this week, my group and I will present about student mental health as our title for this issue in education. So, firstly, I will introduce myself first. Okay, my name is Muhammad Ali Fahmi bin Aziz, and then I will introduce you the other four of my group members. Okay, for the second presenter, it will be Aiman, and then the third one will be Hani Afan, and then the fourth one will be Akif, and lastly Sharmizi will present his point about this issue. Okay, so what I will be there for? Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, and now I will. Oh, understand. Understand. Alright, guys. Sorry about that. And now I will give the definition about student mental health. So, by definition, mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Okay, from what I can understand from this definition, I think that mental health is about how we emotionally, cognitively, and behaviorally that's the thing that how we react in our life. So that is the condition that influence our mind in our daily activities. It determines how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make our choices. So to put it simply, just like I said, it's about cognitive, behaviorally, and emotionally well-being. So it's about how we think, how we handle stress, and how we cope with our life. So that's all about the definition. And now I will move on into the current state of student mental health in Malaysia. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, and now we will move on to the current state of student mental health in Malaysia. According to National Health and Morbidity Survey 2019 and HMS 2019, there are about 424,000 children were found to have mental health problems in Malaysia. So, in this current state, just like this year, we have COVID-19 as a major outbreak of epidemics, but we never take note about the hidden epidemic in Malaysia. So according to NHMS 2019, they stated that this is the hidden epidemic in Malaysia, where children in Malaysia vastly have mental health problems in their life. According to NHMS 2017, state of adolescent mental health in Malaysia, based on DASS 21 scoring that conducted by NHMS 2017, they found that 1 in 5 adolescents in Malaysia are depressed. 2 in 5 adolescents in Malaysia are anxious, and 1 in 10 adolescents in Malaysia are stressed. So this is a very concerning topic for us because if we make an example in a classroom, just like we thought that in a classroom we have like 30 students in a classroom. According to the data, maybe in a classroom you may have 6 depressed students or 12 anxious students and 3 stressed students in a classroom. So this is very concerning. This is very concerning for the teachers because we may never know that the student in a class may have this mental health problem. So what I can say is this is a very concerning. That's why we pick this issue as our title. So we need to discuss about this. And then I will move on to suicide rate or having a suicidal thoughts among Malaysia students. So basically, research to the suicidal behavior in Malaysia, according to HMS 2017, they stated that from year 2012 until 2017, the suicidal behavior by our adolescents in Malaysia has spiked from 2012 to 2017. So about the ideation, plan or attempt to have suicide in Malaysia all have been higher percentage by year. So suicidal behavior also was the highest among Form 1 students. Okay. Now we move on to an example. During last year in 2019, there have been a case where a 16-year-old student girl who committed suicide because of a Instagram post. So how we talk about that? How a teenager, 16-year-old, can think about take her own life because of a mere Instagram post. Okay, that's all for the current state. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the yes. Okay. Proceed to Aiman.
Okay, alright. Okay, so basically that was all from me. Thank you for having your time with me for my point in the first place. So now we'll move on to Aiman. Where is Aiman? Aiman! Oh man!
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi, my name is Muhammad Nur Aiman bin Zainuddin with the metric number 2016-376-469. I'm the third presenter who would like to present about issue that affecting students' mental health. Alright, for the first issue is about social media. Merriam-Webster 2014 defined as social media as a form of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, personal message, pictures, videos, and other content through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, blogs, and so on. In fact, Facebook alone reported an estimated 1 billion active users in 27 August 2015. It means 1 out of 7 people on Earth use Facebook in a single day. A number of research studies classify connection between use of social media and its undesirable outcomes like increase in anxiety, stress, depression, and loneliness. In present of this era, addiction of social media is incredibly increased. Once an individual gets on, it is difficult to refrain from its use. Comments and likes act as positive reinforcement and making it more difficult to stop it. People worry about the likes and comment of their uploaded pictures and videos. The Hearty Soul 2016 said, the longer time you spend on social media, the more you are getting depressed. According to a research conducted by Streetland 2014, young adults are the most active users of social media and dominantly are at risk of developing mental health issues at a high rate of concern. Therefore, we can conclude that excessive usage of social media can affect on the mental health of younger generation. Alright, now we go for the second issue, which is academic stress. Academic stress is the most common emotional or mental state that students experience during their studies. In Malaysia, the major sources of stress among students are mostly difficulty in concentrating due to the presence of excessive information, the pressure of heavy workload, and examination that cause harmful effect of their health and performance. Parents who put too much focus on grade and extracurricular activities are minimizing the importance of social skills and compassion. The study has proven that teaching children kindness and compassion helps them perform better in school and increase their academic achievement. Academic parental pressure will only make kids worry. When they get a high grade on a test, they will worry about the next one, or that someone has gotten an even higher grade. If the grade is not the top one, kids will be left with the feeling that they are just not good enough. Eventually, the stress and the feeling that they are not the best, they could be may lead to bad behavior. Too much pressure will make kids attempt to get good grades through any means. They may turn to drugs, and relationship with the classmates will be affected in a negative mental health. Alright, now we go to the third issue, which is personal health condition. Personal health conditions actually refers to the bad health habits. For example, smoking, alcohol addiction, and drug addiction. A study in the journal Nicotine and Tobacco Research revealed that students who were heavy smokers had substantially more mental health problems than those who were non-smoker or light smoker. The analysis revealed that heavy smokers, more than 10 cigarettes per day, reported substantially poorer well-being, have a greater depression and anxiety, and more functional disability. Several factors possibly influence smoking or psychiatric morbidity among college students. These factors include the stress of transition from high school to college, peer pressure, or lack of parental influence. Alright, now we go to the fourth issue, which is family structure. I would like to talk about single parenthood family. Single parenthood becomes a clear risk factor for mental health problems for both children and adults, leading to a greater psychological distress and depression. Single parenthood raises further economic challenges, compounding the level of stress, possibly causing more difficulties in parent-child relationship. Children from single family were more than twice likely to report internalizing problems and more than 3 times likely to report externalizing problems compared to the children who from two-parent families. Besides, children who live with their mother and unrelated partner had the poorest adjustment and highest level of conduct problems compared to the children who just live with their mothers. Alright, now we go to the last issue, which is gaming disorder. Various studies show that playing too much computer or mobile games causes physical damages and increases anxiety and depression in players. Many studies also show that most adolescents who are addicted to computer games have high risiko and high heartbeats and blood pressure due to too much excitement and stress. Most of those who involved in these games do not notice the time passing and even forget to eat. Some computer games can be constructive, while others can have damaging effect on the children's body and mind. If parents want to ignore them and avoid their children playing them, parents make them more eager to access them. And if they cannot play games at home, they will go to their friends. If they cannot play there, they will go to the internet cafe and places they can find computer games. So, parents and authorities in cultural and educational fields should have appropriate plans to provide proper involvement of children in this gaming issue. Okay, now I would like to share about recognizing the signs. What should we do if we start to notice signs of depression in our friends? Here are some signs of depression to look in our friends. First, they are not enjoying activities they once loved. Second, they are no longer attending class or social outings. Third, they are experiencing extreme anger or sadness over a relationship in their life. Fourth, they react negatively or with apathy to most things. And the last one is they often talk about death or suicide. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiman, for presenting about issues affecting students' mental health. As you know, mental health problems can affect many areas of students' lives, reducing the quality of life, academic achievements, physical health, and satisfaction with the school's experience and also college experience. Furthermore, it will also negatively impacting their relationships with friends and their family members. These issues can also have long-term consequences for students, affecting their future employment, earning potential, and overall health in their future. So today I would like to explain in detail in consequences of mental health problems in students in Malaysia. Let's go. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hanif Afan and I will continue to the consequences of students' mental health in Malaysia. As you know, most of the issues will impact these five branches such as you can see in the diagram, individual, interpersonal, institutional, community, and society. Okay, there are four consequences of students' mental health problem. Number one is consequences for the students. Mental health problems can affect a student's energy level, concentration, dependability, mental ability, and optimism, hindering performance. Research also suggests that depression is associated with low grade point average and that co-occurring depression and anxiety can increase this association. Depression has also been linked to dropping out of school. Many students report that mental health difficulties interfere with their studies. College students identified the following mental health issues as negatively impacting their academic performance within the last 12 months. As you can see, there are 30% of students are having stress when they are having mental health problems. The next is 22%, which is anxiety. 20% is sleep difficulty, and 14% having their depression while they are having their studies. Second one is consequences for others. As you can see in the slide, peers, family members, faculty, schools and staff may be personally affected out of concern for these students. Depression and anxiety can have harmful effects on the relationships and work productivity. Suicide and suicidal thoughts can affect the larger campus community and also school community. Roommates, peers, schools, staff also experience profound grief over student suicide and suicidal behavior. The third one is consequences for schools. Schools feel the burden when students with mental health difficulties do poorly on coursework and drop out of school. College and university must be prepared to address the psychological impact of suicide on other students as well as teachers and staff also in school. Poor student retention can mean losses in tuition, fees and alumni donations. The last one is consequences for communities and the larger society. The community is negatively affected when students are unable to finish their degrees and contribute valuable skills in a competitive job market. One study found that 5% of students do not finish their education due to psychiatric disorders and estimated that 4.29 million people would have graduated from college had they not been experiencing such disorders. I think that's all from me.
Shining through the city with a little funky soul. So I'ma light it up like dynamite.
Sorry Bang Jago, ampun Bang Jago.
Okay, so thank you Hanif for his presentation. So mental health is not a joke, guys. We need to take it seriously, otherwise it will negatively affect our student. Okay, so I'm Akif bin Ahmad will present on how to promote a positive mental health among our students. So please try to stay focused, although it might take a long time to explain on this part. So let's go.
So, for the first point on how to promote positive mental health among students is encouraging social time among students. So, each level of the system such as schools, parents and also societies need to play their parts on having social time interaction with the students. An example on having social time between the student is having a break time during classroom to communicate among themselves. Schools also can prepare a gap in the timetable, at least 20 minutes per day or 20 minutes per week for social time or social interaction between students themselves or student with their teacher, for them to be less stressful during the classroom. Schools also can conduct a group of students that each is assigned to speak about their progress in life in the classroom, so that they can be less stressful about their life. So, for the second point is to make mental health known among the students. Mental health need to be presented to our students so that they know about it. An example to make mental health known among students is that the school can conduct an event that promote or introduce to the students about mental health. An example on what the event is, the school can have or invite charities to conduct a small talk or to conduct an event in the schools. Schools also can make a mental health week in their school calendar each year to students to participate in it. So for the next point on to promote positive mental health among students is to promote positive self-esteem among students. So a positive self-esteem need to be instilled in each student so that they will not be having any mental health distraction. An example on how to promote self-esteem among students is their parents to instill positive self-esteem so that the parent never compare their children to another person or another students. Also, the parents and their teacher need to value each student as a unique individual. The teacher and also the parents need to anticipate in each student's behavior or thought. So, for the next point is schools policy that support mental health. Each and every level of education system need to install policies that support mental health among students so that whenever or whatever happen in the system that regarding mental health, student can take a look at the policies back. And examples of the policy is that there need to be medication support and also medication management regarding mental health among the students. The schools also need to conduct therapy session on each student so that they know about their students' current mental health state. School can also do assessment of each student about their progress. For the last point is healthy eating option. The last point is about having a balanced or healthy eating traits so that students can avoid from having a breakdown on their brain. It is very important or crucial for the brain development and also for the brain growth. From this, students can also fill the gut with healthy bacteria in their body and also their brain. From having a healthy eating option, students can have many other advantages beside mental health state.
Thank you for your time with me. So for the last part, it will be presented by Mizi on teacher challenges and opinion about student mental health. So let's proceed.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, my name is Muhammad Sharmizi. So now I will proceed to present and explain to you about the current issues in education nowadays, which is mental health among students. The things that I would like to share is about tips for teacher handling with this mental health student, and how teacher can help this student during this pandemic of COVID-19. There were several tips that I will discuss with you. First, teacher need to reduce the classroom stress. For example, make the teaching and learning process in the classroom more enjoyable and fun. Other example, teacher also need to avoid rigid deadlines, such as try to give homework assignment or any tasks that are due in 2 days rather than the following day. So according to New Straits Times in 2018, student was found dead on the day of 83 exam. The sources said the girl had written a note to her mother saying that she wanted to commit suicide, but the mother however dismissed it, thinking it was a joke, but in the end it really happened. Therefore, this case will be due to stress at school, which is we do not know what she has been gone through in her life, whether at school or at home. Next, the second tip are teachers should work with parents. For instance, always keep in touch with parents where you can know the student behavior that you are not seeing in school. Decide on how the way that you can communicate with your parent consistently. Based on what was reported in the Star on the last year, 16-year-old girl killed herself after her Instagram follower voted for her death. This case may be due to the uncontrollable emotional stress of that student. Therefore, parents are the close people to their children. So, they can share information with teacher, then the teacher can also detect the attitude or behavior of student at school. Now, the third tips are teachers should avoid embarrassment among their students. For example, there are some things that we do not need to reprimand a student in general in front of their friends. Ambience of each student are different, so we do not know what the student has gone through in their life. Maybe they have a sensitive part that we don't know and could be tend to mental health problem if they are too depressed on it. So according to Marsh, students regularly refer to himself or herself in a negative view will tend to mental health issue. They can say something like, I'm a bad kid, everyone hates me, no one trusts me, and many more. So teacher need to be careful about every action taken in the classroom with the student. Lastly, teacher also need to find a good behavior and always praise your student. For example, students were dealing with mental or behavior issue find school to be extra difficult and frequently have low self-esteem. They can be extra sensitive than their peers. So based on previous research, there were positive effects of fewer reprimands and more praise on students. Therefore, teachers should be true and generous in your praise to your students. So now I will continue on how teacher can help students with mental health issue during the coronavirus pandemic. It is harder for teachers to notice signs of mental health issue among their students when they are using online distance learning. So by watching video on the screen only, it cannot create an atmosphere that encourages them to be open about their struggle. Some students may be depressed, missing their classmates, teacher, and even some of their classes. Students who were looking forward to end of year events including sports, play, concerts, dances, and graduation are likely deeply disappointed. The way that teacher can help, first, ask how they are doing. For example, ask about their condition at their home, their feeling for online learning, ask about their problem at home, and many more. Second, give a thoughtful feedback. For instance, be careful when giving a negative feedback. Shaming a student for not listening or performing only makes it worse and can even be a trigger for suicidal thought or action. If a student is not performing, ask what is making it harder for them to focus on their work. Third, teach mindfulness where it can help students focus on the present moment rather than worry about the future, such as you need to spend even only 1 minute doing deep breathing or visualizing a happy place before starting a lesson or at the end of the lesson, which can help students more relaxed. Last, reach out to parents. For example, teacher may be able to help students indirectly by reaching out to parents and offering them support and advice on how to structure their children's days to include time for learning. Now we are reached at the conclusion of this current issue in education. Mental health issue among students is caused by many factors, including peer pressure, harsh parenting style, family conflict, and many other reasons. A student should always find someone they trust to talk to when they face any problem to relieve their burden and stress. A parent or a teacher is always the best people to talk to, as they have more life experience and can give constructive advice, but not all parents and teachers are understanding. To students, if a parent or a teacher is not someone you can open up to, consider talking to a peer counselor, as they are trained to listen to their peers' problem and helps them to find their answer. Most schools in Malaysia have a peer counselor club, and I'm sure that they are always ready to help if you are facing any problem. So do not be shy to approach them. Mental health issue and suicide among Malaysian students is not a problem which can be tackled in one day. It needs cooperation from various parties like parents, teachers, peers, and the student themselves. Last word from me, I think it is time to be more caring for people around us and lend them our ears when they need us to show that actually we care and we love them. So that's all from us. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you can use this knowledge when you become a teacher later. Thank you guys.